How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
RCB's bid to keep their playoff hopes alive will require them to start winning games at home at some point. They've lost 3 so far. Can they turn a corner against Rajasthan Royals, whose season is yet to kick off with just 2 wins in the first 8 games? Let's build up to that contest on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout, where we are joined by Nick Knight and Varun. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. 3 games, 3 losses, and been 100% on the road, 5 wins out of 5. What should RCB have learnt from their first 3 home games as they take on the Royals?
I think first of all, assess their own home wicket, because if you can't assess your own home wicket, you're always going to land into troubles. I think a couple of games ago, Patidar himself said that, you know what, we thought it's going to be a good batting wicket, but it wasn't. And then the other game was a rain-affected game, and also the toss. They've been losing all 3 tosses. They batted all 3 times first. So they are on a bit of a sticky wicket. In all terms, literal terms, and but at the end of the day, they have to change the way they're playing, even if they're playing on the same wicket, because they are playing a lot of shots in front of square instead of behind square.
Have they perhaps been batting to the reputation of Chinnaswamy and not so much the reality of this season's wicket?
Yeah, I think they probably have. I don't think they've probably necessarily read the conditions as well as they'd like. I think that's a big part. I agree with Varun. I think they're top 3 in these conditions, in the power play. They've struggled at home. They've been excellent away. So how do you address that? For me, you certainly don't say to Phil Salt, rein it back. I don't care what the conditions are. You tell him to you wind him up and send him out there and let it get on. It might be that you say to Virat Kohli, let's just assess the conditions. And it might be you that just tones it down a little bit if it's doing plenty or it's not quite what you thought. So that will be a key area. Padikkal with runs in the last game, so he'll have a little bit of confidence in that top 3 if he's used again in that role, which I'm assume he will. But I think that's going to be a key area for them.
The other side is that RCB's bowling this season has looked far better than what we've come to know in recent years. Should that in itself also help the batters perhaps not want to aim too high, have a little more confidence that on a tricky surface, even if we are batting first, we don't necessarily have to aim for a 200?
For sure, but look, Yash, you can't go in with that kind of mindset. You're going to have to assess the wicket, try to play the best cricket you can, especially if you're batting first, and then figure, okay, is this target enough for our bowlers or not? Yeah, their bowlers have been really successful, but their spinners have not gotten any wickets at the Chinnaswamy, just 1 wicket in 3 games. So their fast bowling is doing well, but their spinners are not getting wickets at the Chinnaswamy.
I thought a great example of that actually was in the game I covered a couple of nights ago at Eden Gardens, Calcutta, and Gujarat batted first, and you could see them just assessing the conditions. You could see them working out what was a good score. You could see them play towards getting a good score, and their top 3 did exactly that. That is the sort of thing that maybe, just maybe, if you're uncertain of the conditions, you might have to do in that game.
All right, let's turn our attention towards Rajasthan Royals, whose season is yet to really take off. 4 losses in a row in their last 4 games. They will continue to be without Sanju Samson for this one. The one thing that has been working is Jofra Archer, and it's good that we have you here, because we had you early in the season and we'd seen 2 games of Archer, one of which had seen him concede 76, that on the back of a Champions Trophy which wasn't great and an India tour which wasn't great either. What's working for Jofra Archer in these last few games?
Well, without wanting to pat myself on the back, I think when I was in here then, I said just leave him alone, let him get on with his work, because as Varun knows, it takes a little while. I know he's had quite a lot of cricket now and he's got a bit more form and confidence, but that's as simple as it is for someone of his ability. There was a bit of talk about technically maybe gone over a little bit, so he wasn't quite as high and his release wasn't quite as tall, and therefore he wasn't getting quite as much bounce and pace out of the surface. Maybe that's true, but I think he's just got his confidence. I think he's hunting the stumps down a little bit better. He's a little bit more varied pace. He's a little bit more varied length. I thought in that series against India, I thought it was very predictable. It was bang it into the surface at all costs. So there's a little bit of confidence that he's got from feeling fit, feeling strong, feeling like he can run in now and control things. I mean, you tell me from a bowler's perspective, how long does that take?
It does take a while, especially if when you return to play and you've not had a great series, then it doesn't do your confidence any good. But that said, his seam position was a bit off. It's a lot better now. And then again, like Nick said, as a fast bowler, you just got to put those miles in, got to get that rhythm back. And also talking to the RR dugout, they were saying that he wasn't really well in the first 2 games. He had just come back a little late from England and he was a bit under the weather as well.
Can you explain what you've seen change in these last 5-6 games? Nick pointed when it comes to the seam position? Is there more there?
Look, when you're not getting wickets, you, especially as an in-swing bowler, you try to start suddenly making swing happen from your hand. And that's the worst thing for an in-swing bowler because you want the ball to move as late as possible when you're bowling in-swing. If you see the way Jofra Archer was, especially in the Champions Trophy, he was falling away a little bit. His seam was pointing towards, even in the first couple of games, his seam was pointing towards fine leg. But now, I would say the dismissal of Priyansh Arya was the best example of what I'm talking about. The seam was bolt upright, pitched on middle, and just did enough to beat his bat and take out his off stump. That is Jofra Archer for you.
I'm sure England will be watching his progress closely as well. But is there a need to manage him well, knowing everything that's gone by?
I think so. I think that's an ongoing process. Management will manage him very closely. There'll be a clamour for him to play Test match cricket again if he can stay fit and he has a strong IPL, finishes well, goes back to English conditions. Inevitably, England have got some injuries at the moment in the bowling department. There'll be a clamour for him to play in a Test match or two, and as much as possible against an iconic series coming up in the summer. Absolutely. Is that wise? Just take it day by day. He'll want to play. If he's fit and strong and he's feeling good, yeah, give him a game. He's not going to play all 5 games. I very much doubt he'll play all 5 games. Just see what he's got in the tank, see what he's got left, and then just manage it almost on a daily, weekly basis. See where you get to.
Getting the focus back to this contest, Archer versus Salt and Kohli is perhaps RR's best chance of breaking the game. Do you see him succeeding?
Look, they tried last time. He did not succeed. I think it was because if you remember the fields he had set a 4 on the off, 5 on the leg side field, and with that you're almost you're telegraphing your plans, and you don't want to be telegraphing your plans to a batsman like Salt. What Salt was doing was he read the room, he read the field, went to the off stump and started playing everything to the leg side. And also as an in-swing bowler, you want to start from about 4th stump and not be too straight. So I think that's where he faltered. I hope he doesn't implement the same plans in the game in Chinnaswamy.
They're good mates, Archer.
They go back a long way.
They go back a long way.
Yeah.
A long, long way. So there'll be a bit of that to play out as well. Theekshana, I wonder if he'll play and whether he could open the bowling as well. I mean, that's something that they might look at with Phil Salt. And Kohli is maybe just mix the pace as well as Archer. Just mix that and get a bit of right balance at the top.
All right. Predictions? Anyone giving Rajasthan a chance?
I want to, because I look at their side and I think they've underperformed. They've just not quite got things in the right order yet. Some of their strategies and some of their batting lineups I've questioned a little bit. I want to go with them because I think they're a better side than they're putting out, but I don't think they're going to win. So I'm going to go RCB.
Same here, RCB. They were really depending heavily on the top order, and the top order is missing Sanju Samson also now. So I'm definitely going RCB.
All right. Thank you so much, Varun, Nick, for helping us set up the game. The Couch believes RCB are going to get their first home win of the season. Be sure to catch the build-up to the game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.